Hey, I gotta show you this Skandic because it's gonna go right away. Sold it. Hate to see a good machine go, but I actually bought a new one. Brand new, same thing. This is the Skandic with the 600 ace. And yeah, they're worth quite a bit of money, but they're well worth it. I always said if I can pay this one off, that I'm gonna turn around and sell it and buy a new one. I could run this one for another 5 years, but then I just got to pay more for the next one. So why not stay on top of it, I guess. I built this box on the back. You can still take the seat off if you want. And then I got another one that I built for here, another box, because I use this for trapping. I'm not too much of a touring kind of a guy, but and I even got the chainsaw bracket here. It's a little scuffed up from use. I've had this one here since 2016. In 2020 now, but yeah, chainsaw just sits on here. This little bolt, there's a spot underneath the saw that's got a little opening, so when I sit it on there it kind of holds, but I still put a bungee cord on it. I run it around here and onto the top here. But yeah, she's been good. Original belt, and I've towed a lot of bait with it. A lot of weight traps and whatnot, a lot of firewood. I put some good use on her, and I don't stress it, you know. I kind of try and use it wisely as much as possible, run the hills and whatnot, but it's amazing what it'll pull. You'll run out of traction before you run out of horsepower. Yeah. I don't think I'd ever need the 900. If I was trapping in the foothills where you had long grades and you're towing bait, you know, and really had to give her to get up those hills, I might consider it then. But I got some hills, but nothing that this thing won't handle. 20-inch track with the high and low range, it's amazing. Good on fuel and ultra quiet. So yeah, traded it off, or not traded it off, I sold it, and it's gonna be going away right away. And then I bought this guy. '21 Skandic 600 ace. She's got the low, neutral, and high. The other one has the high, low, neutral, and then reverse on the same lever. And this one here doesn't have the reverse down here. It's got it up on the grips here, so the start button is actually a reverse button as well. Got a compartment up front here. Pretty nice and deep too. Like, you can put quite a bit of stuff in there. I haven't really tried it at all. Like, didn't even put 200 yards on it. Around the yard a couple times, you don't have enough snow. But I assume that probably stays warm enough to keep a cell phone from freezing. Seat comes off again. This is a little different setup on this one. I'll make a better review once we get some snow and we get going here. Get this bear hide off of here. Yeah, I love bungee cords. I got them everywhere. I just throw them on, and then you never know when you're going to need them. One's actually a dedicated one for the chainsaw. Which is this one here. When my saw sits on that platform, I just hook this onto it. I just hook it back there. Dedicated as in you can't take it off unless you bend it off. Then you don't lose it, right? It stays there, and that's what it's for. Same idea as the other one. I put a bolt because my saw's got a hole underneath it, and it just sits in there. So if you forgot to put the bungee cord, it probably wouldn't fall out. Well, I won't. I've tried it. Still throw the bungee on just to Make sure you don't lose it. You don't want to lose a saw. They don't come with a receiver hitch. The other one didn't have a receiver hitch. It was just a regular snowmobile pivot type of deal like this here. So this one's an actual receiver hitch, like a truck if you want. 1.25 inches is what you need. So I built this one. She's pretty heavy duty. I don't think I'll break that one. That's a box there, right? All kinds of attachments and eyelets, and this rack on this sled is way bigger. This is way wider and longer. The other one is, you know, the bars, these bars are kind of in and shorter, different taillight setup, so they use the space way nicer. So this box is quite a bit bigger. I think it's like 25 inches wide at the front, and what was it, 27, 23 at the back. See me use these straps before. They're so handy. Don't have to put any tools or whatever, they just don't move. And this is so you can tuck stuff underneath here. It's a big open area underneath, but I always seem to have, you know, it's nice to sort things out. The thing I did on the other one is when I built this shelf was shorter, and I found a lot of the stuff that I put up there would bounce on the trail and jump out and end up in the bottom here. So I made this so that it's flush with the top, so when the lid comes down it keeps it from the stuff from jumping out. Full length piano hinge, and I might put some of that 2-inch strap on the back side of this hinge all along there, just over top it, just to keep the little bit of snow from making its way in when it drifts in, because you can see daylight through it, not a whole lot, but. And then these little stoppers, it's just snare cable, screw, and then ferrule, double ferrule, same here. And then what I do is I got that cable, and when you close it, it'd wander wherever the hell it wants, but you actually kink it. You bend it this way and then you pinch it, and then this way when you close it, it's automatically going to want to see how both of them are closing towards the inside. They'll always do that because they got that initial. Yeah. So this is my dedicated bungee for the top. I don't usually keep this in the way. That's just a pin for the hitch. I usually put it on that side and don't lose it. But yeah, this bungee just goes over top, and if you don't want to use it, usually when I'm checking traps, just cruising around, I'll just, leave it off to the side. Then when you're ripping down the trail or the road or going a long ways, then I'll put the bungee. Yeah, I usually take the seat off, because if you don't, if you're not going to use it, if I'm by myself, why would I? With swinging your boots over top, and you got an axe, and next thing you know, you cut it up, and then it costs you $600 or $700. I don't know how much you'd sell these seats, but just take it off, and there's a compartment underneath too. So, and that's where I keep. It's not a really nice quick access compartment, but that's where I'll keep a small block and tackle, like 1,000-pound block and tackle in here, and a sling and that kind of stuff. And the block and tackle is more or less for if ever you get stuck or roll over. They're pretty heavy, so it's nice to have the option if you need to. This has got the articulated track, so you can change the setting right there on the other side. It's just a button that you pull up, and then this track can either be floating this back portion can actually float up and down. They say it makes it easier to back up. Or you can lock it up. When you lock that up, you're basically down to like you had a 137-inch track. Eventually you'll sink and it'll catch there, but I've noticed a big difference from it being loose as far as traction for when I'm towing. So I keep it locked in down like solid all the time. Then you get the full dedicated traction complete. You don't lose any of it. As soon as this starts to pivot, you lose that traction. You're stuck with this here. So every time you try and take off it, you feel like it goes eventually, but you're always digging in, and I don't like to have to worry about that. I just keep it straight and go. All right.